Hey, Bling, how are you doing? You're in the middle of it, right? You're in the eye of the storm. Has it started sleeting and icing on you guys yet? She may not be at the computer. Yeah, so Bling is going to be up where the big ice storm is. Yeah, this we're not talking true crime right now. I just was going to show you while the whole world is focused in on the storm of the century, it's getting colder. It was like 55 this morning and it is pouring. Hey, Jennifer Lawton, good to see you. Yeah, so everybody is so focused in on this cold and ice and snow and this enormous storm, right? And is anybody paying attention to the fact that all of the airlines have canceled flights in the Middle East? I'm waiting for the 10 inches or more of snow that we're supposed to get. Well, Diane, I am glad that you were in the snow zone. The snow zone is a heck of a lot better than the ice. So I hope that when you wake up tomorrow, it is a beautiful winter wonderland. Buckle down in Middle Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to be icy. Yeah. They're changing the forecast so fast, right? Yeah, that is wonderful, Diane. I'm really happy for you guys. Yeah, so you got something nice and pretty. Yeah. Okay, so, what's the right hand doing when the left hand is waving wildly, right? And the left hand would be the big winter storm of 2026 that has everyone and their pets freaking out about the cold air, the snow, the ice, and whether you got toilet paper, bread, and milk, right? Well, it is very interesting that when you go to the flight radar, there's no airplanes flying in Iran, or even for that matter, Iraq is kind of quiet. Um, take a look at Israel. We are not flying in Israel. Why? What's happening in Israel? Y'all see that? Israel's got loads of airplanes coming in and out all the time. Something very curious. There's tons of flights in Egypt right now. Look, you see these straight line flights. That's not, typical. Looks like they're heading maybe to Jeddah. But what is going on here? The rest, you could see the rest of the world is as normal. So the another notable is when you look at these flights, that are coming in. This is Dubai. This is Mumbai Airline. Dammam, UAE, Riyadh, here's an Iraqi flight. Here's another Iraqi flight. Weird. That's the only thing in the air. There's an Istanbul entering. This one's leaving. Karachi's leaving. Doha's leaving. Bahrain is leaving. Whoa, this is so weird, y'all. Look. Mali to Istanbul. It's incoming. Iraqi Baghdad flight incoming. There's no flights. This is so even they are, see how there's no, something's about to happen. See how they're flying just on the inside of the Iraqi airspace. And there's nothing, there's not a single plane in the air over Israel. Yeah, nothing is in the air in Israel. Here is a Tel Aviv to Chicago. I bet this is the last flight out of Israel. Damn, that is so eerie. That is so eerie. Yeah, nothing. Look at that. 2 planes over Lebanon. I do believe someone's going to war. These are leaving. These are Istanbul flights that are leaving. Yep. You got 2 planes about to land. One is from Iraq, and Iraq has Iran has basically set up home bases in Iraq. Right now, they were mortal enemies when Saddam Hussein was in power, but now, you know, Iran's been pretty influential with the Iraqi government, and so you've got 1 plane coming in from Iraq, and this one is coming. Oh, both are Iraqi flights. What? So those are probably Iranians. That is so wild. That's it. Here is Jeddah. Okay, so that one is not, that plane's not telling who they are. Baku. Yep. Looks like something's going to happen tonight. They've got their call sign turned off too. Call signs off. I'm looking in Iran right now. There's Delhi. These are leaving. These are the last ones to be leaving. Ooh, I don't know what that is. Yekaterinburg? I don't know what that is. Oh, that must be Russian. Yeah. Russian. So here's Tehran here. That is a huge city, y'all. Huge city. There's very, very curious. Here's a big plane coming in from Moscow. Wow. There's Moscow. All right. Well, that is so eerie, isn't it? Curious, very curious. I suspect tomorrow we won't have very many flights in the air in the United States. If the ice storm is what they say that it's going to end up being. All right. So, oh, there's something else I want to look at. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Hold on. Yeah, nothing there. Oh, wow. That's very interesting. Yeah, look at this too. This is kind of interesting. So silver hit $103. Yeah, there looks like somebody's going to war. Add to the stage. Please keep us in the loop. Silver and gold breaking record. Yeah, 103. For silver, the gold is kind of sitting steady right now. We're going back to the gold standard soon. Google says Israel is threatening Iranian targets. Oh, but that would ground all. But it also, remember what I said. Let me double check and make sure. I was doing research on this guy, Ryan James Wedding. I was going to do a video tonight about him. He was an Olympic snowboarder, and he basically became one of the biggest drug pens in the world, like El Chapo. And he was put on the FBI's most wanted list, I think like November this past year. Pam Bondi put him on, and they captured him today in Mexico. He was wanted for murder of a federal agent. So as I was looking at that story, kind of trying to learn about that, then I ran across the weird stuff happening with the airlines. Yeah. It started about 3 hours ago, and I started seeing the little, news blips about it. And I was like, okay, well, they're canceling flights because of the ice storm, the winter storm. And then I said, wait a minute, what? Basically, so it says several major airlines, well, now all of them, they've all canceled flights to the Middle East. Lufthansa, Air France, KLM, they were the first ones to cancel their flights. Air Swiss have canceled. United, American Airlines, United Airlines, they have canceled all flights to Middle Eastern destinations, including Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. Air Canada has canceled their flights. There is intense speculation that the U.S. will be targeting Iran. Qatar donated jets set to serve. Let's see. On Thursday, yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump spoke of an armada heading toward Iran, adding that he hoped he would not have to use it as he renewed warnings to Tehran against murdering protesters or restarting its nuclear program. U.S. officials speaking on condition of anonymity say the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln and several guided missile destroyers will arrive in the Middle East in the coming days. One official said additional air defense systems were also being sent to the Middle East, which could be critical to guard against any Iranian strike on U.S. bases in the Middle Eastern region. The deployments are seen as expanding the options available both to better defend U.S. forces throughout the region at a moment of increased tensions and to take any additional military action after striking Iranian nuclear sites in June during the 12-day war. Let's see. Okay, so, no, it says here that Israel has threatened. So Israel is also saying that they're going to strike. Yeah, that's what that appears to be what is happening. Interesting. And there is not a word on any of the US mainstream media, which is just wild. So interesting. Yeah, just a handful of airplanes. There are there's one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 inbound airplanes going into Iran, which is almost like nothing. And then you've got that giant jump in the sale of silver. Very curious, isn't it? I thought we were just going to be watching it snow tonight. That is so interesting. They did say that in an Iranian city today, they killed 4 of the protesters. They had a public execution. So maybe that's why it's ratcheting up. The IRGC was never elected into power in Iran. They took over the country back in 1978 in a bloody coup, which involved the assassination of several members of the royal family back then. Yeah, and so the actual president of Iran, I wonder, where is he? I don't know where he is housed. Is he in the US? I guess if they were to overthrow Khomeini, I guess he would be reinserted as the rightful. Are those handful of airplanes the ones that are not showing tracking information? No, there's several that don't show their information, but most of these are Middle Eastern airlines that are flying in. The majority of the airplanes you're looking at are flying out. And then it's interesting because Iraq, so this area right here, this is Iran here. Iraq is right here. So they don't have much movement, but then Israel doesn't look like there's anything moving over Israel. Well, they got one plane there. Two, is that one or two? Ethiopian Airlines. Yeah, both of these look like these are they just took off, or they're getting ready to land. Maybe they're getting ready to land. They're circling. It looks like they're getting ready to land at Ben Gurion Airport. So those are both that one's Ethiopian Airlines, and this one is Dubai. That's very interesting, isn't it? Yeah, Israel's definitely locked down. Yeah, Israel's expecting something. See that? Lebanon's only got a couple of airplanes in the air too. Yeah, somebody's about to do something. Iraq is pretty sparse, and there's not much happening. What usually over Iran, there's a lot of traffic. Fly Kiva, Jazeera Airways. This is a freighter. This is like a private little tiny plane right there. From Moscow, small jet from Moscow. I don't know, y'all. Very interesting, though, isn't it? Very interesting. All right. Well, that gives us something else to watch tonight while we're watching it snow. All right. So that's that. Did y'all see the information about the Olympic dude? He's out in a bumper, but is planning to go to either Russia or China. Both countries are sympathetic to Islamic. Yeah, so Yeah, so they said that usually Khomeini will come out, like, on Fridays and make a public appearance, like a little short one, um, but he did not today. He did not today. Yeah, the Olympic dude, they caught him in Mexico. Yep, he had his walk of shame. They're planning to reinstall the Shah of Iran once the Ayatollah and his regime are gone. I'm all for it. Before before they took over, Iran was like a this modern, thriving, beautiful culture. And these creeps moved in and oof, just destroyed the people's lives. But I think that was Trump's red line, right? He said if you kill any of these protesters, we're coming. So yeah, the snowboarder, the guy that was that is that they've just arrested, his last name is Wedding. Ryan James Wedding is the dude's name. And he's like El Chapo. He's like a true drug dealer guy. His story is kind of it's kind of a sad tale. He when he was growing up, his family owned and operated the Baldy um mountain ski resort in is Canada. And the uncle, so this guy Ryan James Wedding's uncle, he trained the Canadian downhill women's downhill ski team. That his family operated Baldy Mountain, little small local, ski area. And when he was young, he had quite a lot of success skiing and snowboarding. They ended up moving to Vancouver, and that was when he switched over to ski boarding for competition. He left skiing and went to snowboarding, and he did have a lot of early success. And like when he was high school, 15, 16, 17 years old, and he made the Salt Lake City Olympics Canadian team snowboarding. I think it was 2002 maybe. And he placed at a very disappointing number 24 in his best race. So there was a great deal of disillusionment, maybe anger, sadness, whatever, coming from a very affluent family where they were all decorated athletes. I'm sure that was a kick in the gut. He never skied again. He never snowboarded, competed ever again. And he started out like in little petty crimes, like little personal use, possession, and whatnot. And then he got in with a bad group of guys, and he suddenly kind of became unstoppable. And he's murdered lots of people. And the thing that finally landed him on the FBI's most wanted list is that there was I guess, an undercover agent that was going to be testifying against him, and he killed him to silence a witness, essentially. And it was at that point then that Pam Bondi put him on the FBI's most wanted list. They were offering $15 million for information that would lead to his arrest. So it was really only a matter of time. When you're offering $10-15 million to a bunch of drug dealers in Colombia, somebody is going to talk, right? So it was really just a matter of time, but they did in fact find him in Mexico. and he has been now escorted to the United States of America, and we can only assume that he'll soon be standing trial, right? So I just thought it was such a interesting story, the ultimate fall from grace, story. Um, and so, yeah, so that's what I was actually working on when I heard about the airlines not flying to the Middle East. And then I was like, well, why not? And then when I started looking at that, I noticed there was no air traffic over Israel or Iran. And well, very little. There's some over Iran, but not very much. And so, yeah. So y'all think that they're gonna bomb Iran? Let me see what Chat GPT doesn't really talk to you much about things like internet, like politics. It's kind of been trained not to, I think. Let me go to Grok. All right. In your best estimate, do you think Iran is preparing for war? Let's see what Grok says. Let's see. Iranian officials issued defiant. Uh-oh. All right, do y'all want to hear this? Let me share this here. Share. Here we go. Based on recent reports and statements from January 2026, my best estimate is yes, Iran appears to be actively preparing for the possibility of war, particularly in response to escalating U.S. and Israeli military postures in the region. This preparation seems defensive and anticipatory rather than offensive, focused on deterrence and readiness for retaliation if attacked. Iranian officials have increasingly signaled openness to preemptive action if they perceive an imminent threat, which could heighten the risk of escalation. What are they going to attack? That would be that would be the most foolish action they had ever taken. I'll break down the key indicators drawing from official rhetoric, military movement, and geopolitical context. Iranian leaders have issued numerous warnings emphasizing military readiness while also expressing dual willingness for dialogue or conflict. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated that Iran would fire back with everything we have in response to any renewed attack, referencing the 12-day Israeli-Iran war in 2025 and warning of a prolonged regional confrontation. President Masoud Pezeshkian, I think that's Pezeshkian, has echoed that an attack on Supreme Leader dipshit would equate to full-scale war. Okay, do you really think we're scared? That's so ridiculous. High-ranking military figures such as Royal Guard Commander Mohammad Pakpour and General Ali Abadi have declared Iran prepared for any possibility, including all-out war. Boy, do y'all remember the talk about the mother of all battles? It was going to be the mother of all battles. Do y'all remember that? The rhetoric there? And within hours, the Iraqi forces were on their knees begging to be taken hostage. Preparing for any possibility, including all-out war, with forces having their finger on the trigger. They've threatened strikes on U.S. bases and assets across the Middle East if provoked. Iran's Defense Council has shifted toward an anticipatory defense doctrine, stating it won't wait for an attack if objective signs of threat emerge, marking a potential evolution from its traditional reactive stance. This includes talk of preemptive strikes if an assault seems imminent. These states come amid ongoing domestic protests where the regime has cracked down harshly, with death toll estimates ranging from 3,000 to potentially as much as 20,000, according to United Nations reports. External conflict may be a way to rally national unity. You're not rallying national unity. The people want away from Khomeini. They're sick of the way they're forced to live. Evidence points to concrete steps Iran has taken to bolster defenses. Reports indicate ramped up missile production, full repairs to damage from the 2025 war, and heightened alert status along Western borders, including air defenses and military infrastructure. Iran has secured airspace, maritime routes, supply lines, and missile systems in preparation for a prolonged conflict. Visual evidence from Tehran shows IRGC trucks transporting drones along highways, signaling active mobilization. Iran has also closed airspace in anticipation of strikes and warned neighboring countries against allowing U.S. or Israeli use of their territory. Allies like the Houthis have threatened to target U.S. ships if Iran is attacked, potentially broadening the conflict. The Houthis are going to be really unhappy if they do that. They're going to be very sad that was their choice. The ballistic missile stockpiles are reportedly being replenished with Chinese armament or assistance, and officials claim nuclear capabilities are locked and loaded. You guys better be careful. You better be careful. Iran's preparations are largely reactive to U.S. deployments, including the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group heading to the Persian Gulf, additional fighter jets, and evacuations from bases like Al Udeid in Qatar. President Trump has described this as a big flotilla, a massive fleet, keeping all options on the table while watching Iran's response to protest. Israel has completed preparations for potential U.S. strikes with its Air Force and intelligence on high alert. Yeah, they're locked down. They're in a plane anywhere in the sky. Analysts note this buildup differs from the 25 conflict, with risk of a longer, more destructive war if it erupts. U.S. options reportedly include strikes on nuclear sites, regime targets, and blockades potentially aimed at supporting protesters and extracting concessions. Iran has communicated readiness for talks, but views demands like halting its nuclear program as non-starters. While Iran's actions suggest preparation, they could also be posturing to deter attacks amid internal vulnerabilities. Protests have weakened the regime, with security forces showing some reluctance to suppress them fully. A war might unify the population. No, it won't. You're so ridiculous. Grok, you're so ridiculous. They are not going to be unifying the Iranian people and aligning with the Khomeini. No, that is not happening. On the flip side, if no strike occurs, these preparations might de-escalate tensions, or Iran could initiate action if it miscalculates threats. The situation remains fluid, with reports of airlines canceling flights and U.S. forces nearing full deployment. This estimate is based on publicly available information and could change with new developments. Yeah. Maybe this is it, you guys. Maybe this is going to be, maybe they're done. You know what I mean? Maybe Khomeini and his little minions are, maybe they're out of there. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if they'd just go the hell away and give the country back to the people that it belongs to, that's the way to do it. Yeah, very interesting. Most likely, were you going to see him? They're begging for us to come save that. Yeah, Diane, it's terrible what those people have had to live through. It's awful. Yeah, I do too, DB. But what Khomeini and his minions have done to the people of Iran is it's evil. It's unforgivable. Ayatollah and all that follow him are fanatics in belief and purpose. They will clearly dig into the minor cities, very similar to what happened in Afghanistan. Hey, Save Robbie. Wow, you've been hiding. I hope you're doing well. We have weapons now we don't know about that don't require boots on the ground. Patel called him a modern day Pablo Escobar. Yeah, the Ryan James wedding. Yep. Sketty Nona says, I searched. Iran threatened Trump. I see the last 16 hours have been hot. Yeah, I mean, Israel is locked down. Sounds like the wedding guy is very similar to Askar Pistorius, who was a Paralympic athlete before he was caught killing his wife. Yeah, and that murder was just horrendous. What she was hiding in the bathroom. Oh, it was so horrible. It was so horrible. Can you imagine reaching the most revered state or status of being an Olympic athlete only to throw it all away for drugs and gangs and murder? Really scary. Yeah, no, it's tragic, horrible, terrible tale. Absolutely terrible. All right. So let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, I'm thinking Des Moines, Iowa on Tuesday is going to be a no-show, Sketty Nona. The original Jims, Kelly. Oh, were you invited? You've seen Trump before. All the politicians came to Iowa. Can't remember if it said JD was coming too. Probably, be my guess. All right, people. Well, that's it, right? Like that's all we do. We do still have the Dr. John and Laura Matthias and Grayson Patreon that we're going to finish. But I wasn't prepared to do that today. I worked today and I'm kind of tired. But I thought both of these stories were really, really, really interesting. So I was going to give you guys a heads up. If you get sick and tired of watching it snow and ice tonight, you could watch the Middle East. And so I thought I'd just give you a heads up what's going on. Thank you, Jesse Lorenz. I appreciate that. Hey, Requiem. Good to see you. I hope you are doing well. Yes, Nancy Drew is an original gem. She's the real deal. So is Diane. All right, everybody. So I am going to go ahead and probably going to delete this video. So if you want it, you better go ahead and record it right now because I'm going to delete it because it doesn't have anything to do with true crime or discussions about Lauren and John. But I want to give y'all a heads up to kind of keep an eye on it tonight in case something happens, right? Hey, Bittersweet, good to see you. Is everybody got the hatches battened down and you're ready for the big snow, the big freeze? Yeah, that's gonna be the big thing, Nancy, is staying warm. All right. Well, I think I'll be done. I just wanted to kind of point everybody to look over in that other direction in case something happened. Because it is very eerie to see no airplanes over Israel or Iran. It is a very strange sight. All right, so I guess what we'll do is we'll leave with Rainbow Horizons and we'll just pretend like it's the middle of summer. All right. Remember, I'm going to delete this video after it's finished. So if you're watching it, you may want to save it. All right. See you later. Bye.
Woke up at dawn with the pelicans in flight. Coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles, brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand, just honest days in this promised land. God gives rainbow horizons to those in this happy lane. Diamonds dancing on the waves, back sparkling again. Honest living, a pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love for God and country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. Living each moment, giving truth from the heart. No deceptions woven, no false starts. It goes like a front porch swaying in the ocean breeze. Watching the sunset fade away with pink and blue ease. Teach the young ones right from wrong with care. Hold them close when the world's unfair. In this Gulf Coast life we find our way, building memories that never stray. Oh, rainbow horizons after the rain. Diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace. Family ties and the happiness we see. Love for God and country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. When the night falls quiet and stars shine bright, I thank the Lord for this humble light, for the flag that waves and the grace from above, filling our hearts with endless love. No riches compared to the peace we found in the tides we ride.